How's it going, everybody? My name is Salty and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be covering the must-use settings here in Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer. So as you guys can see, I do not have access to the game yet, but I wanted to get this video ready in advance because one of the questions I do get a lot of is always about settings. So I wanted to get this done first and foremost. That way I can just send the link to this video to anybody that does have questions. There will be plenty of Modern Warfare 2 gameplays coming out within the next week and throughout the year. Of course, we're going to be grinding all the camos, but I'm not going to put off any more time. We're going to start jumping through the best settings to be using here, and I'm going to start with controller. If you guys were not aware, I am on controller. That mainly goes for the newer viewers to the channel. Let's go through my settings here. Most of the stuff is preference. Controller vibration, I do recommend having off. I have a controller that does not have vibration in it, so I never really turn it off, but definitely can be. So for my horizontal, vertical in ADS, it's multiplier. I have that at 8.8, but this is one that you really need to go into game by yourself and figure out what is exactly the most comfortable. You don't want to be too fast because that causes you to miss shots, but at the same time, you don't want to be too slow because you won't be able to turn onto enemies quick enough. So again, you're going to want to go into game. You're going to have to struggle around a bit and figure out what exactly is going to be the best option for you. There's not much really else other than this automatic sprint here. You're going to want your automatic tactical sprint on. Automatic tactical sprint will prevent you from absolutely destroying your controller. Personally, the only time I ever turn it off is when I'm using a hip-fire weapon or a shotgun, because that automatic tactical sprint while you're moving forward will kind of mess up the animation. It'll make it harder to hit your shots and you'll probably die because of it. But other than that, I always keep this option on. The rest of the stuff here is not really all too important. Now we're over in the advanced option, and this is where you can locate things like dead zones and your aim assist. So the longtime fans of the channel know I am a Black Ops simp. With that being said, I really do prefer that Black Ops aim assist mode. It feels like the rotational aim assist built by the Black Ops engine really caters to controller players. And then you pair that up with the linear aim response curve type. And I feel like my shots, especially while I'm strafing or their side-to-side motion, I feel like my tracking on enemies is extremely solid. People who have used my Cold War settings will tell you the same thing. It really helped their accuracy. So we're going to scroll down a little further here, and this is where you will locate your inputs. Firstly, I'm going to say I've never had a problem with right and left triggers, but if you are having a problem, you can crank this up or crank it down. But the most important things are going to be your right and left sticks. Obviously, this is for stick drift. Your minimum is your guy running by itself. If that's the case, you want to move this up until he's not. Is he moving to the side by himself? You're going to want to move this up until he stops. Is your controller drifting right or left? Are you having trouble sprinting? So obviously the left is how you sprint. If you're having troubles, or if your controller is having trouble sprinting, you want to bring that down and it fix the dead zone on it. If your controller is drifting right or left, up or down, you're going to want to take your right stick and move it down until it's no longer drifting anymore. Now, the rest of the stuff down at the bottom of advanced really isn't important. I haven't found anything in here that I've really changed. I've kind of kept all of its stock as is. Up next, we're going to be sliding into our interface here. And one of the things I like to do is the longtime fans of the channel do know I like to change my color customization. I find it makes the map brighter, and it also makes it easier to see my targets. They did end up adding, from one change they made from the beta, is they ended up adding a dot above your enemy's head so you can distinguish the difference between your enemies and your teammates. So that's a huge W there, but I'm going to give you the best settings for that to make it the most visible. So for starters, your color filter, you're going to want to unfilter 2. That seems to give it the most vibrance on the map, and that is for both in-game on the map and also at the menu. It kind of like saturates or contrasts it much better. So the color filter target, you're going to want them both, and you're going to want them both at 100. Now we're scrolling down to our HUD palette color. You're going to want to pick Tritanopia here. Again, it's like the most vibrant and most contrasted colors. And I like to personally use blue and green. Somebody actually said, why green for enemies? It kind of signifies that's a friendly, but that lime green really stands out, and you can actually really see your enemies much better. Even if you don't technically see them and you see the little dot above their head, that's what you're seeing, and it's much more visible on the map. So I like to have myself at a light blue color, along with my party also at a light blue color, so I know exactly where they are on the map. And then my team I have at a darker blue, so I can distinguish them between myself and my party. And obviously I just said my enemy is at line green. That really does seem to stand out much more. And then I leave the neutral and contested just alone. Now, when it comes to multiplayer, I tend to turn my subtitles off. I do not want that clutter on my screen, as it will kind of affect your vision on the map. Preference though, keep that in mind, big preference. I know some people like to have this on, especially when they're going for camos with like rocket launchers. You can see if UAVs are in the air or streaks are going up in the air, because it'll show up with the subtitles. But other than that, there's really not much here that I need to go through explaining. It's all just preference based. So that being said, I'm going to jump over into the next one, which is going to be audio. So over here in audio, we have my audio mix set at headphone bass boost. Now this is definitely going to depend on the type of headset you do have. I have an Astro A40 for comparison to yourself, and the headphone bass boost for me, it really distinguishes where exactly enemies are. Are they above me? Are to the left, right, behind? It tends to really stand out much more with the headphone bass boost option. But like I said, this could definitely change based on the headset you are running. Another small thing I like to do is turn my music off. And it's not for the reasons you think. It's not because the music annoys me, but you don't want your music on during the game, and there's no separate option for that. So when the music's playing in game, you can miss some very subtle audio cues, like someone hitting a barrel, someone possibly sliding, someone peeking a door. And the music could totally block that sound cue out. So I would recommend turning this off or having it very, very low, just so you're not missing those audio cues on the map. Now we're on to what I would say is the most important part. Now I understand this is console players won't understand a lot of this, but there are a lot of settings here that console players still do have. So for you PC players, this is definitely more targeted at you, but for the console players, I would still pay attention. I will definitely explain when there are console settings here. So I'm going to start scrolling down. I do have my aspect ratio at automatic. VSync gameplay and VSync menus are both off. My custom frame rate, I do have it custom. I do have it all the way up to 300, but the reason I needed it at custom is I don't want my menu running at over 60 frames. That's just working your PC and making it hot for no reason. So this is the rest of this stuff. I have this at 2.2. My brightness is really going to depend on your monitor and what you're playing on. The rest of this stuff is unimportant. We're going to go over to quality here, and quality presets I do have at custom. So we're going down to our render resolution. I do have 100. This is a console setting right here. So console players, pay attention. You want your sharpening and upscaling at Fidelity FX Cast. It will make your game extremely crisp and sharp. For anti-aliasing, I have the Filmic SMAA2TX. My anti-aliasing quality is going to be at low. This video memory scale is going to be dependent on your PC, but I'm running very low settings because I like to have the best performance possible. So I have it at 85, but it doesn't need to be at 85. You can see the VRAM is set very, very low there, but it's going to be dependent on your PC. For my texture resolution, I have this at low. Texture, filter, anisotropic, low. Nearby level of detail and distant level of detail are both at low. Quarter draw distance, I have it short. My particle quality I have high because for some strange reason in Call of Duty, this boosts your FPS for some strange reason. I can't explain to you why, but it does. We have our particle quality levels at low. Preference here, we have our bullet and impact sprays. I do have those on. It doesn't affect your FPS whatsoever. Our shader quality I do have at low. Tessellation is going to be near. Terrain memory minimum, and my on-demand texture streaming is going to be off. Another console setting. So console players, if you walked away or you are just zoning out, pay attention. You want this off. It will definitely cause some frame issues on console unless your internet is godly, and the same could be said for PC. So our streaming quality I have set at low. Volumetric quality low. Deferred physics quality is low, and water caustics is going to be off there. So we're going down to our shadow map resolution is going to be low. Screen space shadows is going to be off. Spot shadow quality is at medium. Cache spot shadows you do want on. Spot cache is going to be medium. Particle lighting low, and ambient occlusion is going to be both. This is one that I have seen people turn off, but I think my game looks much better with it on. Doesn't seem to hit my FPS all too much. Screen space reflection I have at normal. Static reflection quality I have at high. Weather grid volume is going to be low. NVIDIA low latency, you definitely want this on. Depth of field off. Console players come back. These last couple here are extremely important for you guys as well. Will make your game a ton better. So we have our depth of field that is going to be off. World motion blur off. Weapon motion blur off. I understand it's realistic. It might look cool, but when you're blurring like that, you're going to miss somebody. But personally, I hate it. I don't think it looks better. I think it kind of makes me motion sick. But you should definitely have those off. You don't want to miss targets while spinning side to side or turning. And your film grain, you want to all the way up to 1, will make your game look significantly more beautiful. It will adjust the strength of the visual noise on the map. Over here in view, something that may be new to you console players is the field of view slider. I have personally have mine at 110 here for Modern Warfare 2. I also had it at 110 in Cold War and also Modern Warfare 2019. In Warzone, it's a different story. It's a massive map. I do have that at 120, so I can just utilize the entire map, but I don't feel as though it's necessary here in multiplayer, but it's one you're gonna have to figure out what works best for you. If you've been on 80 FOV, maybe a bit challenging to jump right up to 120 as you may struggle to see enemies. I would slowly work your way up and find your most comfortable spot. Your ADS field of view is extremely important here. You want that at effective. It will not zoom back into 80 FOV while aiming down the sights, and it will reduce the visual recoil significantly. Getting down to our weapon field of view and vehicle field of view, I have them at default. I don't really see those as too important of attachments. And then one of the most important settings here is your first person camera movement. You want this at least and 50%. Another one that will drastically reduce your visual recoil, which there is a lot of here in Modern Warfare 2. So if I happen to help you guys just a little bit, or you happen to enjoy, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, turn the bell on. You don't want to miss any of my upcoming Modern Warfare 2 videos, and hit the like button. It will help this video reach other people. Make sure you guys stay tuned. There's going to be plenty of Modern Warfare 2 content coming this year and more coming this week. There's going to be 2 or 3 videos every single day. So again, make sure your bell is on. Make sure you've hit the subscribe button. You're going to want to come back for all of this banger content. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.